With the prevalence of faster internet services, mobile technology, and accessibility to social media and online shopping websites, more and more people are becoming or are victims of cybercrime. But what is cybercrime? And what offenses fall under it?
Ang cybercrime ay isang krimen o offense na ginawa o isa nakatuparan sa pamamagitan ng internet. Although sa definition talaga ng krimen, pag ito hindi dinefine sa revised penal code or sa special law, hindi siya crime. Kasi pag walang na-violate na batas, kahit ito yung nakatuparan sa pamamagitan ng internet, wala. Hindi siya krimen.
Why are there victims of cybercrime? How do these offenders track down users and gather their information from the internet?
Lahat ng gumagamit ng internet, meron niyang assign na IP address. Ina-assign niya ng ISP, Internet Service Provider, o ng telco. Dalawang klase yan ng IP address. Either static o fixed o dynamic na pabago-bago. Pag static ang IP address na ina-assign sa'yo, yun na lagi ang gagamitin mo sa account mo. Okay? Pagka dynamic naman ang IP address na ina-assign sa'yo, lagi ang nagbabago. Ngayon, nag-connect ka sa internet, etong IP address mo, pag disconnect mo, nag-reconnect ulit, iba na naman ang IP address mo. Pagka dynamic ang IP address at nakuha mo yun, kailangan kasama dyan yung date at saka timestamp. So, ibig sabihin, pag trace mo isang cybercriminal at nakuha mo yung kanyang IP address, kailangan kasabay nun, sabihin mo rin anong date mo siya nakuha at anong time mo siya nakuha. Kasi dynamic yan.
Since many cybercrime criminals use advanced technology to commit these crimes, what are the ways for ordinary citizens to protect themselves both practically and legally? Which government agencies should they go for help against cybercrime? And what penalties await those who commit these crimes? Good evening. You are watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno, and tonight we will discuss your legal rights on the issue of cybercrime. We are now joined by two guests who are experts in understanding the anti-crime cybercrime law. We have with us Attorney J.J. Dicini, cybercrime law practitioner, and Major J. Guillermo, Chief of the Public Information of the Anti-Cybercrime Division, PNP. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us. This is, of course, a very interesting topic. We all know about the cybercrime law.
Yes.
And it's, of course, still pending as a Supreme Court as we speak. No?
And just to show you how much very qualified our guests are, Attorney J.J. Dicini is actually one of the lawyers who did also the oral arguments for the anti-cybercrime law with the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So, so first of all, maybe we will start off with I guess, defining the cybercrime, what cybercrime is, because obviously a lot of people are, we had a ton of questions on Facebook and Twitter. Can we start off with the definition of cybercrime? Maybe Attorney JJ, can we start off?
So cybercrime is I guess is a group of offenses, as it were. It covers traditional crimes that are committed using electronic means. So using a computer, using a cell phone, for example. This may be fraud. You may commit fraud, for example, using a computer or electronic methods. Another type of cybercrime are these completely new offenses, which are done entirely on the computer, such as hacking, for example, or what's known as a distributed denial of service attack, such as interference with the operation of a computer system. And yet another would be, for example, content-related offenses, such as libel and intellectual property violations.
All right. Now, as of now, let's say Major J, a lot of those that are listed in, a lot of the crimes listed in the cybercrime law or anti-cybercrime law.
Yes.
Is it we don't have them in other laws, or medyo may overlap with other laws, like the revised penal code, for example, or
Actually, yung cybercrime law natin is with the enactment of it, talagang maganda sana yung effect. So
mas comprehensive.
Mas comprehensive siya. Mas
Yeah.
detailed siya, hindi siya katulad ng other laws na nagawa na.
Major J, in your experience dati, were there crimes committed online or through technological means before na nare-report sa inyo pero wala kayong ma-file na offense because nung wala pa tong anti-cybercrime law?
Yes, maraming kaso talaga.
Oo. Like what examples? Ano yung mga
Especially po
normal
sa social
offenses?
media is merong laging nag-aawayan yan. So, katulad nga nung inaano natin, there is a libel through the internet. So, laging nag-aaway yung even best of friends.
Yeah, but
Those are the most common.
But as of now, though, since it hasn't been enacted, let's say yun nga, may mga awayan and name calling or libelous comments
Yes.
on let's say social media, Facebook or Twitter, or maybe Instagram. What are the remedies currently? Ngayon wala pa yung
Actually, on the part of the PNP, the only thing that we do is, for example, the complainant will go to the office and we just request for the deactivation of the account immediately.
That's it.
Yes.
That's no filing of suits.
No filing of suits for us of this.
Okay.
Well, Attorney JJ, napag-usapan dito yung libel. We were talking about libel, but that actually is one of the most controversial provisions, yes, in the anti-cybercrime law, because a lot of people were opposing yung anti-cybercrime law precisely because of that libel provision, yung penalties attached to
That's
it.
right.
What's your take on that provision?
So
Is
it
it really
became-
disadvantageous? or-
Right. It became the focal point of the opposition for the cybercrime prevention law. I mean, people were concerned, obviously, because there was double liability. So you could actually focus a lot of the objections through the libel law. There was a Section 19 which related to the takedown clause, which allowed the complainants to have the Secretary of Justice remove contempt simply on the basis of a mere complaint, even without trial. So libel, it was important with respect to the opposition, but it's also important in another sense. And I think that one of the reasons which caused Congress to include cyber libel in the law was that it appeared that 75% or so of the complaints fielded by the PNP and the NBI cybercrime divisions related to libel, more or less
So most
the
of it
format.
talaga, most of it talaga, no?
So social media,
social media
two people
libel.
fighting, yes, and so I think it was necessary in that sense to highlight that problem. Unfortunately, there was a lot of concern, particularly I think from traditional media, that a lot of libel cases have been filed by public personalities as a way to stifle public discussion of issues. And so their concern was cybercrime or cyber libel would be used now as the new means of prosecuting media practitioners. So I think that's what that sort of put the momentum behind trying to scrap the Cybercrime Prevention Act.
Okay, that's very enlightening.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were confused. Ano ba yung libel provision na yun? Bakit very controversial? And for now, we'll answer questions first because we've collected a lot of questions from our viewers. Let's try to answer some of them with our guests, starting with Irene. Is it covered by the cybercrime law if you post a status message in your Facebook account without even mentioning any names, but somehow irked a person and made her furious about it? Another thing, is it covered by the cybercrime law yung kinokopya mo yung file ng isang tao sa USB flash drive na walang permiso? Need help and an expert advice po.
Yan, two questions
So,
yan,
dalawang
no?
questions.
Dalawang questions.
Oo.
So,
So
let's start with the Facebook question
Oo.
first.
So, walang minention na names, pero mukhang may nagalit. It's a status
Sa
post
status.
on the Facebook.
I guess depends on the status.
Facebook.
It would depend
Yes.
on
So,
the nature of the status.
Would that be, what do you think, ano pong possible offense dyan?
So the issue here is, well, of course it would be libel. No? I suppose it's a negative post and the person is not named, but it's adverted to. I think the problem there is, if you file, let's say you're the complainant, you feel that you're alluded to. The question is like, why would you complain? Because if by complaining, you're in effect saying that whatever is being imputed,
That was
Parang
you.
that refers to
kino-confirm
you.
mo na ako
Yes,
yun,
na ako
yes.
yun, diba?
Oo.
So I think that's the reason why blind items work. That you see on in media all the time.
You have this bato-bato sa langit
Right.
status
Yes.
post, di ba? And
So-
you feel that you're alluded to.
Right. I think you can't bring the case unless you can say somehow that
It's clearly
there's a reasonable relationship between what is being said and you being identified. Of course, identification is the big issue there because the person who posted the status might say, "Well, I wasn't necessarily referring to you." The fact that you feel adverted to might not, it's I guess your problem, not the problem of the poster.
Okay, so hindi masyadong clear dito na may liability yung person
Depends.
who posted a Facebook status
It would depend.
without referring to any person.
It would depend, I guess, on what the post is. No?
It depends on how well identified the person is.
How about the
Okay.
second question?
Major J, what do you think of the second question na offense daw ba if you copy from a USB flash drive, yung may kinakopy ka bale na content I don't know if...
na confidential. Kanya,
Yeah, is it
I have a USB.
piracy or...
I guess you call it, well, just to clarify, it's not USB, but a flash drive. It's a flash drive,
Yes.
a thumb drive, and then you have a
Parang ang
data
sabi
there.
niya lang pag kinokopya mo.
Kinopya mo.
Yes,
Without
ba-
the consent.
Based on the definition of the cybercrime, without the permission of the owner, that is considered as a hacking.
Hacking yan.
That is intrusion. Illegally, you are intruding to the information from the hard drive. If you will copy it without the permission of the owner, it's considered.
Okay, so there's an offense there.
Yeah, there's an offense.
Okay.
All right, we have another question, this time from Andronico. Lately, my wife has been receiving threats through her Facebook account. The threat came from her former partner, threatening that he will get their child no matter what it costs him. Also, when this guy found out that we were married, he threatened us that he will stab me to death when he sees me. Now, this guy also sends messages that are sexually abusive to my wife. How should we handle this legally? Yeah, so I'm assuming that the communication, he's sending messages through
Facebook,
through social media or computer.
And
or
text
email.
messages, yes.
Messages.
So what are his legal remedies in this one?
On the part of the PNP, the first thing is he must file a complaint in the.
He should save those messages.
Yes,
he should save those messages.
So save those messages, and if we will open the account, our certified forensic or the forensic expert must do the downloading or getting the information through the internet, and as well as if there are text messages, we will conduct an investigation through the cell phone with the help of the forensic experts.
Forensic experts. Okay.
So, Major J, the PNP currently has the ability to trace. In this case, parang kilala nila kung sino yung nagte-threaten. But if it's anonymous, can you trace? May ability ba na matrace through investigation?
Actually, there's a bad side on using the social media because you cannot detect who is the real owner of that or the account.
Okay, so kung fake or troll, what
Yes.
they call troll accounts,
Yeah,
usually
because
hindi malaman.
if we are conducting an investigation through the Facebook, and we know that the Facebook is from the United States, and we cannot get the data from the
from
server.
that,
Yes. So that will be the hard part of the. And
You can't really order that account.
Yeah.
Kunyari, it's a troll account.
as long as the complainant or the owner of the account or he has or another person or a witness can say it through his affidavit that he knows that the
who
person
that owner is, then
that-
you can act
Mahirap.
on, you can act on
Yeah.
that affidavit,
Yeah.
based on that affidavit.
Okay, that's hard. Attorney JJ, sorry, I have another question. Kasi sabi dito, the threats include saying na he will stab him to death.
Right.
But this is already made online
Online.
or through text messages. Would that qualify for grave threats under the revised penal code?
I think it will, but I think the sense that I got from the question, it sounds more like violence against women and their children. So it's a vowsy, to be a vowsy
Yeah.
case.
But there's no relationship between, kasi this woman is married
Former
to...
partner niya.
Former
Yes.
partner niya,
Oh, yeah,
the one,
okay.
who they have a child together. So I think the vowsy law will apply. And then you will use all the electronic evidence to establish that the basis, for example, a barangay protective order or a temporary protective order, and then filing of a criminal
Yeah,
prosecution.
vowsy would be good
Yeah.
kung i-establish the former partner niya. No?
Yes,
So
former
at
partner
least a
with
tip
child.
for
Yeah.
the people out there, just because it's committed online does not mean na yung remedy nyo lang ay anti-cybercrime.
That's right.
No?
Yeah,
Marami
that's right.
pang applicable laws.
Right.
Okay, we have another question from Maribeth. I have an online shopping site on Facebook and I have had my share of bogus buyers and scammers. A lot of other shopping sites post photos of their bogus buyers and scammers. Is this a correct practice and does this fall under cybercrime?
Ayan, okay. Attorney JJ?
Yeah, well, that kind of sounds like libel because you're putting somebody's face and then you're saying this person is a scammer. So
Kahit totoo.
well, that's the thing about libel, right?
Yeah.
So the truth is not a defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's to besmirch and to blacken someone's reputation.
Right. Although in this particular case, you would think that the purpose for this particular type of expression is to protect other people from being victimized. Unfortunately, I don't think the law distinguishes. So the proper remedy would be, I guess, to file a complaint against these people before the authorities.
Yes, yes.
To try to trace who they are and then pursue remedies that way.
Okay.
Okay.
We still have a lot to discuss with our guests, but before that, we will take a short break. Legal Help Desk will return after these messages.
Galing.
Online shopping has become very popular for Filipinos over the last 5 years because of its convenience. Not to mention that items sold here are priced lower than those found at the stores and malls. However, the downside to this popularity is the rise of many cybercrime criminals who take advantage of its users.
Isa po akong online seller ng toys. Nagba-buy and sell po ako. And meron po akong buyer na madalas pong umu-order sa akin. And dinadala ko po yun sa bahay niya, kaya medyo close po kami dalawa. Pumunta po ulit ako sa bahay niya kasi may order ulit siya sa akin. Pinakita niya yung Facebook niya. And then ngayon, sabi ko, ma'am, baka po na-delete lang, mga ganon. Hindi ko pa rin pinansin. And then, sumunod, siguro mga 2 months, 3 months, mga ganon, basta matagal na po. Sabi niya, nag-PM siya sa akin, nag-message siya sa akin sa Facebook. Sabi niya, sis, tingnan mo to. Ang Facebook account niyang, nang sinasabi ko sa'yo, sabi niya ganon. Marami nang nagre-refund, magulo na. Ang unang-una kong ginawa talaga, sinabihan ko yung mga buyer at saka yung mga seller. Pinost ko, sabi ko, Chean Alfonso Santos, na may isa pang pangalan sa details niya na Gel Cleto. Yun. Tapos, maya-maya, may nag-PM sa akin, may nagtumawag, bakit ko daw pinost yung ganon sa Facebook. Wala daw akong karapatan, mga ganon. And sabi ko, ikaw ba si Chean? I-refund mo yung pera nung friend ko. Yun lang at buburahin ko na yung post ko. Ang ngayon, ang gagawin na lang daw nila, pupuntahan na lang daw nila ako sa bahay ko. Parang natakot ako kasi bakit nila ako pupuntahan? Tapos ngayon, yung mga kamag-anak niya, yan na, hindi na ako nakipag-usap kasi talagang insulto, nagmumura na sila, gano'n, nagbabanta na sila. Sumunod na araw, merong dumating na sabina sa akin. So sabi ko, ito na nga, ito na yung ginawa nila. Ang kaso kasi, yung Chean, para siyang wala. Siya yung scammer talaga. Wala siya doon. Mula nung nanghingi ng refund, nung araw na yon, hindi siya nagpakita. Naging witness siya doon sa kaso ko na siniraan ko nga daw yung pinsan niya na wala namang kinalaman doon sa na siya naman daw talaga. Nalihis na doon yung nangyayari eh. Imbis na sa kanya mag-focus sa amin na dalawa nung pinsan niya napuntahan, ni Gel Cleto.
You are still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel. And we are joined by our guests, Attorney J.J. Decini and Major J. Guillermo, Chief of the Public Information of the Anti-Cybercrime Division of the PNP.
Yeah, so let's discuss the case on hand. You got to hear her story. Parang it seems, I think if you sum it all up, what she was saying, she was getting threats. No? She was getting threats. She did some online business via Facebook, and then there was a person she was dealing with na biglang all of a sudden she was getting all of these threats.
Because she had posted that person's name.
Because she posted that person's
Tsaka
name.
parang, what I'm getting from the facts is that parang scammer tong person na to, na pinost niya yung name. So, after that, nung pinost niya yung name, siya naman yung tinithreaten.
Yes.
So, ano yung mga liabilities dito and what types of offenses were committed?
Well, kung talagang scammer yung person that she named, then she can file the appropriate case like estafa, I suppose, or whatever. But the fact that she named her in the post, no, or in the comment list, I think there's some that could be considered liable because in fact you're saying this person is a scammer and you're naming them. What's interesting is she said, if you settle the matter with me, send the money back, I will take that post down. So there's that sense of blackmail.
Blackmail, yes.
Diba?
Yeah.
Oo. So I'm not sure.
But we don't really have an offense strictly na blackmail under the revised penal code. So, on the part of yung nagko-complain sa atin, in our case study, will she be liable for using that as an incentive dun sa scammer na bayaran mo muna ako or i-refund mo muna ako so I will take the post down?
Oh, so what's interesting there is that people have this online reputation that they're protecting, that they cultivate on Facebook. And what this person is doing is he's saying, "Look, I will attack your reputation online if you don't
don't
pay
do it."
up."
Yeah.
So there's that situation. I think that's the reason why there's sort of a counter suit that they're attacking her with before she can even file anything for against these so-called scammers. The scammers are inuunahan siya. File na kita ng case so that you're on the defensive. So it's actually a common tactic for people who are before the case is filed against them, they preempt the attack by filing the suit against the actual victim.
Right.
So to turn things around.
Major J, what could, kasi obviously para ang unang na-scam dito would be yung case study natin na she was the one who was conducting online business. Tapos linapitan siya nitong person na to na tinart niyang bentahan. What could she have done here to protect herself or to address yung situation nung na-scam na siya?
So, talagang mahirap talaga yung online, you are engaging in online business because you cannot identify personally the person you are dealing to.
I mean, it's really just a name.
Yeah. You know, the pictures, you are not
Yeah.
sure if the pictures is real or his name or her name is true. So
what kind of protection under the circumstances? Anong
Because
best that
I'm
they
sure
can
a
do?
lot of people there still find it profitable.
when I was asked to that, I will always advise do not go online engagements.
Not yet.
Actually, yes.
Lalo if you don't trust the source. No?
Because
that's the safest. No?
That is the safest. Because kasi pagka yung kaharap mo na ako minsan, niloloko ko pa. Lalo pa kaya yung if you're dealing with online and that will be in another part of the world.
They can hide behind the electronic facade, di ba? So all right, now let's go to penalties. No, I see. Obviously, a lot of people want to file cases against other people who might be injuring them via by internet or computer technology, and would like to file the necessary cases. But of course, at the same time, they want to make sure that the penalty for this is really serious,
Yes.
so that those who are doing it will get punished. Kasi kung di rin naman ganun kalaki yung penalty, we have some crimes in the revised penal code na yung penalty is 200 pesos, mga ganun, or diba? What are the penalties that we're looking at here?
Well, right now with the TRO of the Cybercrime Prevention Act, our cybercrime law is basically the section, I think, 33 of the E-commerce Act, which specifies the crimes of hacking and online piracy. And the penalty is common in both. It's from 6 months to 3 years. And a fine, I think minimum of 100,000 pesos, maximum commensurate to the damage caused. So what you'll see immediately is that because it's 3 years and less than the 6 years, if it's your first conviction, you qualify for probation.
Right.
So a lot of cybercrime cases, actually, if it's the first offense of the accused, they will plead guilty in exchange for one count, and then they immediately go into probation. There's no jail time.
But the anti-cybercrime law right now, if it goes into effect,
Yes.
would you say that the penalties there are higher
Yes.
and heavier?
Heavier. Because a lot of the, what they did was a lot of the penalties were either prison mayor, so that's 12 years and up, right? I mean, outside the probation law.
I see.
Yes, that's the idea.
All right, now we need to answer some questions from our televiewers. Again, we have Dominic, and Dominic is asking, my email addresses were hacked, and so was my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram account. The hacker then assumed my identity, and he's using my accounts as if it were his own. I know this because I created a new Facebook account and managed to check on my old account. What can I do in a case like this? What crime did he commit, and how can I file a case against this person who is assuming my life?
My life na, no?
Wow,
Hindi
yeah.
identity. My
Life niya-
life.
life niya
Baka
kasi yung Facebook,
nakikipag-usap na to sa mga friends
Friends
niya.
niya, yes.
Okay. So yes, what can he do?
Yeah. So yeah, anong ano niya dyan? So someone took over.
Siguro Major J can start
someone
from,
took over his
like,
Facebook
from a
identity.
practical perspective. Anong pwede niya agad gawin?
Yeah.
from the if we are before looking, he is assuming his identity through the email. It is very hard to hack the email actually, as long as if the hacker will send you a malware or a virus, that if you click on it, and then he will get all his email.
But it has happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
it has
I have
happened.
some people whose emails were hacked.
So, if that will happen, he can go to the PNP or to the NBI.
But the problem is he doesn't probably know who took over.
Yeah,
his-
we can detect.
Oh, you can detect.
Yes,
all right.
because we
You
will check all the we will check the emails and
You will know
Facebook.
the IP address.
Yes,
and-
we will check the Twitter account or his Facebook and the Instagram. We will check on that.
And once you discover it's this particular person,
Yes.
you file the
We
necessary
will file
charges?
unnecessary charges if it is within the Philippines.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
within the Philippines.
And I guess he can also have them closed in the meantime. I had an experience kasi someone
Yeah.
made the fake Twitter account. Made naman, hindi
Yeah.
hinak, pero made a fake Twitter account
you.
using my name.
Yeah.
And I had to write directly to Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
And then they ask you to
Yeah,
submit
same with me.
certain requirements.
My Twitter account was hacked, and I was posting.
The
quote
fake
unquote,
you.
the fake me was posting pornographic links and everything, and so I was going around. I think
Kunwari lang yan. Kunwari the fake.
it wasn't me. It wasn't me. All right.
Okay.
I just
Attorney
wanna-
JJ, what
I
offenses?
wonder if he had more followers.
And then the
fake
old,
Ron.
the
It did.
old
It
Ron,
did.
yeah.
It increased my followers.
Biglang
Double.
dumami yung followers. Attorney JJ, anong offense did that person commit? The one who stole the identity, basically.
So basically, that would constitute hacking, because in each instance he's getting unauthorized access into the account. No?
Yes, yes.
Once for the
Yeah.
email, once for the no, each time he accesses that account without consent is considered account. So if the PNP can detect when this account access happens, let's say Facebook gives up the log information, then you can use each instance as
When he was- when he
as a
logged.
count.
Was
Let's say
one
that's
count
one
of
count, yeah,
offense
because
of
that's
hacking.
yes.
So,
that's
what
right.
which law will apply though? Since we don't have the anti.
It's 8792.
It's 792 e-commerce act.
E-commerce
Can be
act.
used for that.
All right.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Good
That's
news
good.
for
Good news for all you
yes.
Facebook users. All right.
And then Nonoy is asking us, is giving my opinion on a certain matter, does that constitute libel? Actually, I wrote an article in an online forum, but I stated in that article that those were entirely my opinions, so it may be true or just a product of my imagination. Then next query that I want to ask is, if there is a prescriptive period in filing a civil case for damages arising from the crime of libel, is there such a crime as online libel? If there is such a crime, what would have been the best evidence to it? So maraming
Right,
questions.
it's a-
First
it's a
part
complex
was,
question.
he was saying, is he liable for libel, considering nung sinulat niya raw yung article, he even qualified that this may be true. Actually, this part I found funny. Or a product of my imagination. So, kunwari, may tinamaan na person
Parang
nga.
sinophenim
Tapos parang,
blow, yeah.
he na-invento niya lang, but then he made yung para tong what you call a footnote
Yeah.
na
Yeah.
might be true or might be something that I made up, product of my imagination.
Libel
Was
kasi
that
yung-
still libel?
Yung truth kasi, di ba? Truth is.
Truth is not a defense. I
Yeah.
suppose non-truth is
Or
not
non-truth
a,
is-
also not a defense. Right?
So, as long as it damages
Yes.
the reputation of the person that he referred to
Yes,
in his
referred to.
article,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
still libel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
next part.
The prescriptive period naman. That's interesting because normally, pag libel before, the traditional libel, pag na-publish na yun and everything,
That's right.
and years pass. But now, it's a continuing crime If it's online,
that's
di ba?
interesting.
It's a continuing crime. So, is there a
So-
prescriptive period there?
Right. That's a very good
Because-
point because it's continually being
Yeah.
being accessible. No?
Yes.
Right.
Unlike
Unlike a
publication before, you tag it to a specific date.
Yeah.
What is a good point? I don't know the answer to that one.
Or
it
do you
it sounds
ask
like it
someone?
just keeps
It's a good question.
the term just keeps rolling. di ba?
Yeah.
Because the article is still there.
It's probably
And-
something that,
And that's one of the remedies I think
question.
that online libel
Yeah.
should have. Well, should or should not have, depends on Congress whether they want to have that. Because in ordinary libel, once you're convicted of libel, the article's already been published and there's nothing more that the court can do.
Yeah.
But in online libel, actually the court, once it's determined that libel has been committed, one of the things that's important, I guess, for the person who's been attacked is to get the article pulled
Strike
off
it down, pull it
pulled
off,
off the
pull it
internet.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's one of the things that they wanted in the Cybercrime Prevention Act.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way that they went around doing that, which is Section 19, didn't provide for due process. There was no opportunity for somebody to defend himself. And so actually even that provision, the Solicitor General did not question. They said it was unconstitutional. They conceded. So
Okay, and then last question was that, what's the
evidence?
best evidence for libel? I think the article
The
itself,
article itself.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Major J, ano yung normally hinihingi nyo?
As long as he knows where is the website that it was posted, and we
And
will
an
check
actual
on it.
copy.
Yeah.
So do you accept as evidence yung mga screen grab? Mga
Actually, they can present it, but as long as you must be a certified forensic, so that when you present it in court, it can be acceptable.
Okay. Very interesting. We still have a lot to discuss with our guests, but before that, we'll take another short break. Legal Help Desk will return after these messages. You're still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel, and we are joined by our guests, Attorney J.J. Decini and Major J. Guillermo, Chief of the Public Information of the Anti-Cybercrime Division of the PNP.
All right. This is such an exciting topic. I wish we had 2 hours, actually.
Okay, dami ko pang tanong.
But there's a lot of questions going on. In fact, we have a phone call. We have a phone call from Lex. Lex, what is your question, sir?
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes. Hello, Lex.
It's been a year since I started working from home through Facebook, operating an online shop. Sometimes I add strangers and send them messages about the products that I sell or post on their timelines. Does this fall under spamming, or is there a chance that I will be sued by any of my contacts for doing this?
The question is there any chance for any of your clients? Is there contacts
contacts,
to file suit against you for spamming? All right, that's the other thing. Now, spamming, we haven't really touched on that. We've been talking mostly about libel, but spamming is part of the cybercrime law. No? Now, but of course, it's
Is
on
that
hold.
an offense under the cybercrime law? Spamming?
Yes,
Spamming is. It's called the unsolicited
commercial communication.
All right.
Okay. So,
So-
if you keep sending mga ads,
Unsolicited.
oo,
Yeah.
pwede siyang maging offense. Pwede kang makasuhan for
Yeah.
spamming.
But right
Okay.
now, though, since it's still on hold, what are the possible offenses of someone like him? Na,
Like
would go
Lex,
on- yeah,
he
like Lex,
posts daw on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Status or directly, I think, to friends.
To
sa
friends,
contacts
yeah.
daw. So he's asking kung considered spamming ba yun?
So there's no law now against spamming. I don't think it's a crime. I don't think it's a crime. I think that's okay. But even under the law,
But you lose a lot of friends, no?
well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that, right? You lose your
that's
social
true.
capital.
Ina-unfriend na siguro siya ngayon.
Bablock mo.
That's the penalty there. You lose a lot of people. Yeah.
Black posts.
Oo.
Yeah.
But in the draft of the anti-cybercrime law, would that be an offense?
So under the cybercrime law, unsolicited commercial communication is a crime if you hide your identity and you don't give an opt-out. So all you need to do is make sure that you identify yourself properly and that you give the person you're addressing the spam to an opt-out. So then that would satisfy.
So technically, the text messages I'm getting for loans or for real estate that I'm getting now, and there's no opt-out, but it's just a number, and then it's just telling me about this property and contact this group. That would technically, under at least the
if
pending.
that comes
yeah.
into effect, yes.
Yeah.
I think that would fall under spam because they're not identifying who they are, and then they didn't put in an opt-out, and you obviously did not solicit that that communication.
Right.
What's going to happen in the future, I think, is that you go into a store, you enter into transaction, and then you sign up for their list, and then they send you a message. So that would not be unsolicited because you gave your consent.
Consent, right?
Major J, do you have complaints normally of these types na spamming?
Spamming?
Oo.
So right now it's not. But my advice is if you're receiving a spam in your email, just delete it immediately.
Just ignore.
Because some spams through emails, there are viruses.
Okay,
okay.
that's a very good tip.
Good point. So that's more of practical
Practical
advice rather than legal advice. All
Okay,
right.
we have another question from Sky, and she asks, I have been in a long-distance relationship for 18 months now, and we love each other and plan to marry soon. One of the things we do to make up for the distance is cyber sex. Am I guilty of any crime under the law, especially since what we were doing is a private moment between my boyfriend and I?
All right.
Okay.
This is quite tricky. I mean, under
consenting
cyber
adults.
Huh? Between consenting adults, you're basically, I guess, transmitting very interesting content to each other. Under the cyber, of course, I think now given that it's still on hold, I don't think there's any crime there, right?
Well, I don't think it's pornography because the way I
Yeah.
understand pornography, it's a one-to-many communication. This is a one-to-one communication.
yeah,
So there's
between
no
lovers.
publication.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no publication. They're adults. Meaning if it were face-to-face, it would not be a crime. So I don't think that there's any crime that's being committed. Now, under the Cybercrime Prevention Act, there is a provision on cybersex. But it was so strangely worded, I should say, so I guess poorly worded, that
It would cover it.
Well, because it says that if you commit cybersex for consideration or for favor. So consideration, we know, money.
prostitution type.
Yes, but
An
favor.
online.
The question is
Favor.
what is meant by favor.
Yeah.
So I mean, so
Love. Let's say love.
Right. So there was that issue.
Love is a favor.
Yeah, but I think the contemplation was that
Yeah.
you don't penalize private sexual behavior between two consenting adults. I think they were really more concerned about people making money.
Yeah.
Send me pasa load and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Send me
Yes.
more and
It's
I'll do
also
more.
it's also hard because when you transmit via cyber sex, I mean, after that the transmission is over. How do you what evidence do you have that the transmission ever happened? Unless you videotaped it or screen grabbed it. Or,
Yes.
diba? So what kind of evidence do you have when it comes to cyber sex?
Well, what some people have been doing is they use cybersex as a business. So I will get 5 or 6 individuals, put them in separate rooms,
Right.
have them communicate with different people willing to pay them money. And so when you turn it into a business, actually, it's quite a lucrative business.
Yeah.
Some of these people make $500,000
But you can,
pesos
how do you
per
prove that
individual.
though? After
Okay.
the fact that
Per month.
there's been transmission, you prove it through affidavits, same
Yes,
as other
yeah.
crimes.
Affidavits,
So
yes.
if you will conduct, you will apply for a search warrant, and then
Search warrant,
yeah, and we will get all the.
Actually, I
Alright.
think the AMLAC can help you there because the Money Laundering Council can look into the
Right.
bank accounts because this arises from a violation of the E-commerce Act.
And that's a very interesting naisip ko tuloy, can there be adultery kung cybersex yung your husband, the wife commits cybersex with another man? Diba? It's not contemplated by
And
the
then the
revised
husband will say,
penal
I did
code.
not have
But
sex with that woman. Yeah.
Bill Clinton style.
Yes, oo.
Now we have another phone call, this time from Sweet. That's nice. Nice ko lang po magtanong if hold on. All right. We have another phone call? Okay. All right. From Sweet. All right. Sweet,
Gusto ko lang po
are you
tanungin sana.
Okay.
Ano po ang pwede ikaso sa mga gumagawa ng fake Facebook account po para sirain ka po? Parang lahat po ng mga friends ina-add niya tapos kung ano-ano pong mga mapanira o nakakahiya po ang pinopost po niya. May kaso po ba ako laban doon?
So I think we were addressing that earlier, no? So a Facebook account and then mga nakakayang post na pinupost sa account.
Pero kanina kasi, the person who asked a question was na-hack yung accounts niya. But this one, someone created a fake Facebook account of hers.
Yeah.
Tapos puro nakakahiya yung pinupost about her. So it's like more of an impostor rather than a hacker.
Yeah.
Meron
So actually,
kasi.
that's quite common. And Facebook has a page where you can complain. And in fact, this happened to a friend of mine. I said, somebody's friending me, and it appears to be you, but I know it's not you. The reason is because when I checked that guy's Facebook page, he only had like 8 friends. Right? And plus, I checked that the other account was still live. So I said, go to Facebook. There's a page where you can complain. And within 24 hours, they had taken down the other account. It's pretty easy to establish because napakakonti ng number of friends. And then they just started up. And if the person who says that's me, you can easily establish their identity. So I think the remedy there is less legal, but you let Facebook do their job and
There was
help
one example I had wherein the name of the page was "Where in the World is Juan de la Cruz?" And that person kasi was supposedly that person at Juan de la Cruz scammed a lot of people. But the Facebook page, the name was "Where in the World is Juan de la Cruz?" And then it was a page that kind of had some nasty, maybe a little bit of nasty and a little bit of sarcastic comments about that person. That would fall under libel, right?
Yes,
It would, no?
It would fall under libel. The problem is, can you identify the person who's doing it?
Yeah,
That
that's
might
a
be
tough
very
part because
difficult.
Facebook nga, di ba?
Right. So the issue there is reputation again. And the question is, can you ask Google to take it down? Because for some people, you type somebody's name, the first hit on Google is that page which has all the negative things about them, some of that might be untrue. So I think that's one of the major challenges. No? Can you have Google take down or de-index some of these sites if you can establish that they're fake? Because you don't even know who to sue because the person is anonymous.
Major Jake, just give us some tips siguro. Yung dun kanina sa tumawag, si Sweet. What could be mga immediate measures she could take? Because sometimes even if you have, kunwari, even assuming you already have the anti-cybercrime law and you can file a case against this person, all those days that this page is up, it's very harassing, diba? That
Yes.
a lot of
Such
people
hassle,
can access it and see it. What's the best thing that they can do? At least preventive or remedial measures right away.
So, pag talagang yung account is very disturbing on the part of the person, immediately they can file a complaint.
Go to
And
PNP
with the
or
Go to
NBI.
PNP or to the NBI kung saan ang gusto nila. And yun nga, sa akin personally kasi if I have a Facebook but I don't upload any information regarding about
Your
my personality.
your personal
So
information.
to avoid that issues. Kasi talagang mahirap. The bad thing is it will take time to identify that person. That is the hard thing on the part of the police. And with the suspension of the cybercrime law, we always go to the revised penal code and to check what is available law that we can use to file it.
Oo, tapos medyo kulang-kulang,
Yes,
no?
yeah.
Yeah.
That is a hard thing on investigation.
There's another question regarding pornography, because the thing is with the new cybercrime law or the anti-cybercrime law, it's very specific on child pornography, but doesn't address pornography itself, like adult pornography. Does it mean that it's already covered? I mean, when it comes to adult pornography, it's covered by another law, and therefore it will not fall under the anti-cybercrime law?
As I understand it, it's still covered by the revised penal code. So if you engage in pornography, say from your own website, and it's, I guess as I mentioned earlier, the element that's important with respect to pornography is the publication. So it's a one-to-many communication, not to one.
So basically, if it's child pornography, you can be hit. If this law is passed, you can be hit with two.
Child pornography is already, we have a law on
Yes.
child pornography altogether, and child pornography is inherently illegal. So there's no justification for child pornography. So it's adult pornography where lines can be drawn.
But what I'm saying is you can be hit with two laws, two crimes, di ba?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Okay.
Alright.
It's a very interesting discussion. Siguro, we'll talk to them after the show
Yeah,
more.
for sure. Dami pa. Maybe we should have a part 2. Because we haven't even touched on mga let's say falsification,
Yes.
yung
Yes.
electronic falsification of signatures and stuff like that. We didn't get to touch that. Maybe we'll hopefully have a part 2.
But for our viewers out there, they can keep sending their questions naman,
Yes.
even after the show.
Yes.
So for now, thank you, Attorney JJ Decini, and thank you, of course, Major J. Guillermo, for being with us tonight. Very, very helpful.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back after these messages.
Okay, thank you.
Though there are many ways for cybercrime criminals to get access to our private information and use it for their own benefit, there are also several measures we can take to protect ourselves from them. Engineer Antonio Jimeno Jr. of the Cybercrime Forensic Investigation and Consulting Services shows us how by giving us some practical tips. Did you know that even if we don't use our webcams, we are still in danger of acts of cybercrime?
Mahalaga rin na sa ating gumagamit ng internet, tatakpan ang ating webcam. Bakit? Kasi pag gumagamit kayo ng internet, pwede kayong panoorin ng mga cybercrime criminal sa pamamagitan ng inyong webcam. Ganon din yung mga hackers, pwede nilang pakinggan ninyong microphone. Pwede nilang i-freeze ang mouse, pwede nilang tingnan ng mga chat conversations nyo. So, pinaka-safe na gagawin nyo, takpan ang webcam.
Broadband sticks are affordable, useful, and helpful when you are traveling and need to use the internet. However, it is questionable if you have more than one or two of these sticks.
Pagka nakakita kayo ng ganyang profile, maraming broadband stick, tapos maraming SIM card, bakit kaya siya lagi nagpapalit? Pag professional yung kalaban mo sa cybercrime, papalit-palit lang yan ng SIM card, papalit-palit lang yan ng broadband stick, hindi mo siya ma-retrace.
If you love to shop online, Engineer Jimeno also shares on what signs to look out for before purchasing an item.
Cybercrime in relation to online swindling. Bakit sila naloko? Number 1, mababa ang presyo. So lagi kong sinasabi sa internet, pagka ganyang kababa ang presyo niyan, mag-isip kayo. Kasi walang tao, walang negosyante nagbebenta ng palugi ng mga victims ng cybercrime. Bukod sa pagre-report nito, kailangan proactive din sila. Ibig sabihin nun, sila mismo nagtatanungan, silang mga magkakakilala, nagtatanungan kung isang particular na seller ay legit. Kausap niyo yung tao, huwag kayong mahiya na manghingi ng patunay na sila ba ay legit o hindi. Ang unang-una, video chat. Kung maaaring makapag-chat kayo sa video, i-record mo.
Cyberbullying is one of those things we have to live with today when using social media, but it can still be avoided if you follow these tips.
May Facebook account ka, yung nambubuli sa'yo, may Facebook account din. No? Number 1 na huwag mong gagawin sa Facebook mo ay magtanggap ng strangers. Kailangan kilala mo yung i-accept mo as friend. Okay? Pagka friend ng friend mo, mag-isip ka muna, ba't ako ina-add nito? Okay? Kasi pag nang-bully yan iba, hindi nagpapakilala kung sino sila. So ang remedyo dyan, i-block mo, tanggalin mo na sa network mo. Gusto naman silang matrace at meron naman tayong batas na nagpapanis dyan, violence against women and their children. Kung ikaw ay babaeng may asawa at ikaw ay may anak, tapos binubuli ka ng ganun, sabi ko nga kanina, i-sell natin cybercriminal, huwag mong i-cut muna yung account. Patrace mo kung sino-sino sila.
Hacking and sometimes the spread of negative rumors and reviews on users are also becoming common practices when using the internet. Follow these remedies so that your name will be safe and untarnished.
Karamihan din sa nirereklamo sa cybercrime, yung mga na-account. Pag na-hack ang account mo kasi, ang number 1 na problema mo doon, pagka meron ka mga private folders at mga sensitive na pictures or videos, pwede ikalat. So ang remedyo dyan, usually sa Facebook, kailangan yung Facebook account mo, totoong pangalan mo. Kasi pag totoong pangalan mo yan at sinulatan natin si Facebook, humingi ka ng tulong sa NBI, sinulatan din si Facebook, okay? Ang gagawin lang natin, kukunin natin yung government-issued ID mo, pwedeng passport, pwedeng lisensya. Tapos yung ID na yan, papadala natin kay Facebook. Patunay na ikaw ang may-ari na lehitimo ng account na yan.
If you are already a victim of cybercrime, Engineer Jimeno recommends that you document everything that has happened to you since the crime started.
Pag naging biktima ka, huwag mong sasabihin sa internet, ang biktima ako ng taong ito. Lalo na, kung apparently, yung tao na yun nagbigay ng picture, nagbigay ng pangalan. Kasi walang criminal na magbibigay ng pangalan at ng picture niya.
You are still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel.
Yeah,
And today we learned a lot.
Yeah, what an interesting topic. No, the reason why it's interesting is because it's prevalent now, di ba? I mean, we live in a cyber world,
Yes.
and there is a pending law that will cover all of the possible crimes that can be committed in the cyber world.
Yeah, and
So-
now that everyone carries smartphones,
Yeah.
uses the Facebook or a lot of social media, siguro one of the things that really a lot of people should understand is what's cybercrime. And basically what we learned today is that it's any offense wherein you use online means.
Online means or
So-
digital means, you know, because a lot of other crimes. In fact, there are so many other crimes that we didn't get to cover in our discussion. Like for example, yung mga data alteration or let's say computer interference.
Yes, or
yung mga
forgery,
ganun.
online
Or
forgery,
Yan,
yes.
if you put what do you call it, parang a e-signature on a document and copy paste it there and make it a PDF file. Those are also crimes. No? So you have to bear in mind that anything that you do with a computer or let's say a digital device like a tablet or a phone, that can be a subject of
Yes, and something I'd like to highlight to our viewers is that don't limit yourselves to yung mga online offenses. Like for instance, now that we have the anti-cybercrime law still pending, don't think na, ay wala akong remedy because hindi pa napapass yung law. For instance, if someone is threatening you, nasasabihan na, I will kill you, don't
worry because you also have other remedies. Under our revised penal code, for instance, that would constitute grave threats. Ibig sabihin, whoever is threatening you na papapatay ka or will really harm you physically, that you can file a complaint against this person. And of course, if someone hacks your Facebook or is an imposter, kahit na in the meantime, hindi pa nabababa yung website then, or that site or that fake account, you can go immediately to the PNP or NBI and report these types of offenses.
And also scamming, and not spamming, but scamming. Right now, spamming, unfortunately, it's still legal, no? But scamming, for example, it should still be subject to, for example, the likes of estafa, no? A lot of other crimes, other offenses. So don't worry, you're still pretty much covered. Of course, we're waiting for the cybercrime.
Sorry, and last tip for me.
Yes.
Yung mga pagka naman may kasalanan sa inyo, even if it's a bad friend or even if it's a scammer, be careful what you post about them because baka naman kayo yung ma-filean ng libel. Because even if it's true, it can still constitute the crime of libel.
That's
so,
right.
You know. Okay.
All right, we'd like to take this time to answer questions posted on our Facebook page from our viewers regarding previous episodes. We'll try to answer them and maybe give a refresher course on those topics. Lynn Buenafe, let's see, posted a question on our Facebook wall. My 8-year-old mom is unable to get a senior citizen card because she never was a registered voter. How else can she get a senior citizen card? I guess
it's an odd question, no?
Yeah, other IDs.
Yes, it's not even a requirement that the mother has to be a registered voter.
Right.
So, dapat any type of proof that
age.
she's already in her 60s should be sufficient for her to get a senior citizen card, diba? And kung magka-problema siya, she can go to the Office of the OSCA, Senior Citizens Affairs, which should be in your city or municipality.
Yeah, so basta any ID that will prove your age and that you're that person, that should be sufficient. All right.
And then we have another question from a Facebook user. Carpix Alabang sent us this question. I've been separated from my husband for almost 7 years now. I raised my daughter by myself and my ex-husband is not helping out with all her needs. What case can I possibly file against him? I was the one who left the house with my daughter when I found out that he was cheating on me.
So if you're a spouse, you're entitled to support.
Yes.
Sure.
So the husband has an obligation to support you and your child. If he doesn't want to give support, you can file a complaint asking for support. And then also good news for you, it's also easier to get support under the Violence Against Women and Their Children Act. You can get a protection order, barangay protection order, for instance, and then
to mandate that the husband.
Yes,
no?
because not giving support is a form of economic abuse. So you can file definitely complaint for support or use the VAUSI law as well to get a protection order.
Yes. All right, we have naman Zenaida Rosario Dangla, and she asks us, I just retired from work last April 2013. I haven't received my monthly pension to date. I went to our local SSS branch office to follow up on my retirement pension. They gave me a printout of my monthly pension I am going to receive. May I be clarified why I'm not entitled to a maximum pension of 15,000 pesos since the company is remitting SSS the maximum contribution of 1,560. I've been in the service for 37 years. I think this one is better answered by
someone from the SSS.
Someone from the SSS, no? Because obviously there are a lot of, I guess, computations and actuarial computation. It depends on how many years of service you've had and how many years of contribution you've had. No? So even if you had maximum contribution, we don't really know. I think it also depends on the number of service.
I guess it depends if, based on the files of the SSS, all the contributions of the employer were credited.
Yes.
Because we've had actually some viewers who said as soon as they watched our episode, they followed up with SSS and found out that their contributions were not
credited.
Up to
The employer was not
either the employer is not remitting or yung SSS mismo ata, I think for some reason, medyo hindi updated yung nasa kanila. So maybe he can check. Baka isa yun sa mga reasons why he's not getting the maximum. Or maybe he availed himself of some remittances, some benefits before that reduced his pension. We really don't know. No?
Yeah,
so
the best advice really is
to
print out all your contributions and to find out what really you did contribute over the years and go to the SSS to determine the computation. I think it's not really a legal issue, but more of a computation issue. No? So So there. Now, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have left for tonight. We would like to thank our guests for joining us in our discussion for tonight regarding your legal rights on cybercrime. I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno.
And I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. If you want to send us questions or comments on our topic for today, send us a message via Facebook or Twitter. Join us again next Monday as we discuss your legal rights. Good night.